Welcome to Shape the Podcast, a podcast all about maintaining mental health by sharing stories from those who have overcome negative experiences and feelings, then turned them into something positive. Meet your host.
Oh, hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Shape the Podcast. If you're new to this channel, my name is Kyle Waller. I'm one of the hosts. And if you've been around, you know who I am. Normally, Jason is here, but Jason's not here tonight. He had a good friend of his pass away, and so he is spending time with his friend's family. But don't worry, he'll be back. All right. So tonight it's just me. Hope everybody's doing good. I hope everybody's had an enjoyable 2 weeks since our last podcast. If you have not had a chance to go check that one out, go check out our last podcast with Joshua Coburn. It was a really great podcast, and I felt really blessed to have Josh on to speak about his journeys. And also, if you're new to the channel, go give us a like on YouTube. All right, look us up on the Shape the Podcast for you on YouTube. Like and subscribe. Also, go follow us on Apple Podcasts. All right, go under Apple Podcasts, look up Shape the Podcast. We are on there, and of course, if you're viewing us from Facebook, then you're at the right place. And what's up, Justin Cheatham? How are you, sir? Welcome to the podcast. All right. Welcome to the comments. I know why you're here, and you're here because of my guest. All right. Our guest tonight on the podcast is a guy that I met back last year, I believe, or the year before last. I can't remember. It's been a while. Met him in a city called Detroit. All right. At the Great American Beard and Mustache Championships. He decided that he wanted that to be his first beard competition, and he met me, and unfortunately, he also lost to me. But we won't get into that because this is not a bearding podcast. But yeah, Ben McCall is my guest, and he is backstage biting at the crowns because everybody knows that Marines like crowns, and well, Ben is he's a veteran. So let's bring old Ben on and let's hear what he has to say. What's up, sir? How are you?
Hey.
I'm sorry.
Hey.
Did I interrupt something?
No, I'm good.
Were you trying to get to your blue crown?
No, No, I'm good.
Yeah.
Good.
So I don't know if you heard me because you were too busy biting on your crowns. But I mentioned how we met in Detroit, right?
I also mentioned that you had to read it off of your whiteboard too. That you didn't actually remember that because
I did. Yeah, it's called
2024.
It's called old age. Okay, it's called old age. You know that. Look at the beards. All right, this is naturally gray hairs. Yours are just dyed in. It's okay.
I'm single again, so I gotta
Yeah, you gotta look good for all the ladies. By the way, Justin Cheatham says that I fired shots. That's what it was.
I could see.
Yes.
I'm not blind yet. I may be half dead, but I'm not blind.
I mean, we both wear glasses, so we kind of are blind, right?
No.
And
I do this to give you guys a little bit more chance.
All right. There you go.
I gotta tone myself down.
Yeah. Or tone it up, either one. I don't care. You can be as flamboyant as you want, okay?
We'll leave that for Justin.
And by the way, those of you who are listening and watching, if you want Ben's dating profile, I'm sure that he can fire it to you after the show.
Farmers.com, I go for livestock.
Crayoneaters.com as well, right? He is the poster child. So let's just get into it, sir. First of all, thank you for for saying that you will jump into the firing range and be my guest on this podcast.
I don't even know why I'm here, to be honest.
You know, you're here because you felt sorry for me.
That's another episode.
You're here because I reached out, because I was like, you know what? I've had Justin on the podcast, right? And I knew that you had a story, and I needed to get it out of you, and I just didn't want to be here alone. So I needed you to come on and be my plus one for the night.
Well, you know what goes along with the plus one.
Well, you know what?
A cheap date.
Sorry, but tonight you get the honor of being my cheap date. So, sir, why don't you introduce yourself to the masses?
You ready to get lube? Ready up?
He's got to get the lube on for his debut on the podcast. So,
that one's gonna burn a little bit.
All right,
Tiger Bomb.
This mental health podcast is brought to you by the makers of Tiger Bomb. Okay. Wow, it's already going off the rails, and we haven't even gotten to the meats and the potatoes of the podcast yet.
Like I said, I don't know why I'm here, but
well, sir,
let me know.
Since you're here, why don't you introduce yourself to the masses? I mean, yes, right now we see one of those as Justin Cheatham, and Lord have mercy, we know you know each other. So we'll get into that here in a few, but tell the people who you are. All right? Let the people know who you are.
I am Ben McCall.
All right. Now, what's Ben
McCall? Just kidding.
Okay.
Cricket.
Yes.
No. I mean, I guess to summarize me, United States Marine. I own my own residential remodeling company. I live up in Ohio, near Cleveland.
Go Buckeyes.
I've moved around, pretty much any and every state that I could. This just happened to be where I landed, right now.
Right. So you don't see Ohio as your forever home then, huh?
I don't know. I was in Tennessee for 15 years, and I didn't think I would leave there. But circumstances changed, and I was chasing a dream, and that led me here. So
that's what dream was that led you to Ohio? Please tell me it wasn't a woman.
No.
That's what led me to Ohio.
Let's not get into women. No, it was real estate investing.
All right.
So I was doing residential remodeling down in Tennessee, and then the masses from California and Washington started coming in, and it just got ridiculously expensive to live in Middle Tennessee.
It's expensive to live in Nashville.
I was about an hour
surrounding.
south.
All right. Was that Franklin, Brentwood?
Little town called Shelbyville.
Yep, I know where Shelbyville is. I am from just outside of Nashville, north of Nashville, a town called Goodlettsville. So I'm vaguely, yeah. It is expensive to live there. You will not catch me living there, but I will go home to visit.
So before I moved, I had a house. It was worth $100,000. It was actually, pretty nice, decent house. In 2 years, it went up to $250,000. So that kind of gives you an idea of a 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath. So that's the difference in the prices that started going up. So came up here, was originally working with a buddy, and that friendship fell out, and I just started renovating up here and continued with I just actually put into contract my first house of mine, so that's exciting. And then looking to do another one, hopefully either this year or next year.
Now, but before we get into that, let's talk about your mental health journey. You were a Marine. How long did you serve in the services?
Just a standard 4.
All right, standard 4 years with with the inactive reservist of 4 years as well.
Yeah, they say it's an active reservist, but
Yeah.
you only get called out of that if you're,
Yeah.
the S hits the fan.
So, how was that? Did you have to go overseas and fight in the battles there, or did you get to stay on the home front?
No, I actually got. You talking about while I was in?
Yeah, while you were in. Yeah,
There was nothing going on while I was in.
nothing. You got
I
the.
got out in June of 2001.
All right.
So 9/11 happened in September.
Yep.
Never got called in for that, but it definitely changed, another aspect of my life when that all happened. But yeah, it was pretty quiet. I had some trips to different places and spent
What
most of
was
my
the
time in Hawaii. So
what was the aspect? What was the aspect that 9/11 changed? If you don't mind me asking.
what's that?
Like you said at 9/11 that it changed some aspects of your life. What were those aspects?
Well, I was fresh out of the Marines. I did computer networking, system administration, repair. So I had 4 years of technical abilities and all of that. And the 2 days, the day before, so it was going to be the day after. It was going to be September 12th. I had a interview lined up with a company to get back into it. They called me that morning and told me that they were not hiring anymore, that they're actually shutting a bunch of systems down. And then that actually ran across a whole bunch of businesses that I was looking at, and I found myself without a job or a future. And then started putting myself out there again, and it was because that I didn't have any certifications, just real world knowledge. So I had more information and knowledge than kids just graduating or taking an exam, but because I didn't have a piece of paper, I wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
So
And is that where your life started to slowly spiral downward?
no,
Uh,
no.
when did that take effect? When does your life become unmanageable? I mean, yes, is your life manageable today? Yes, but
Yeah.
is life ever manageable?
So so there are some ups and downs in between that, but
Uh,
that was like the first chink in the armor.
uh,
I was actually supposed to move back to Hawaii. There's a girl involved in that story, but we won't get into girls because we don't do that. Um, that changed. Then the job thing. So coming out of the military, any branch, but especially the Marines, they just pump you with you were the baddest MF in the world,
yeah.
So coming out of it, you're like chest pumped up. Um, so yeah, get that mentality in your mind that's where my mind was coming out, and then hit after hit after hit after hit. I finally get a break. I'm working at a party rental where they do the tents and the
Yeah.
chairs, and I'm working there trying to figure out what I'm going to do with my life. And one of the resumes that I put through finally popped through, so I saw a ray of sunshine.
All right.
Um, we were traveling around the different Air Force bases, installing the new CAT card readers and the equipment and making the cards and all of that stuff. So for a few years, I lived in Eglin Air Force, that area down in Florida. I did work in Nashville, or not Nashville, but New Jersey. So my life started, all right, it's picking up.
hmm
And then that ended. So I'm like, oh, what do I do now? Contract's over. And a buddy of mine said, "Hey, I'm moving back to Tennessee, back to the Nashville area. There's a town, it's a big college town, Murfreesboro. We got plenty of college chicks, and life's grand. And I'm working at a restaurant." I'm like, "Yeah, I love to cook." So again, picked up, moved to Tennessee. That's where things got started going downhill.
All right.
Uh, living a restaurant life. I don't know if you know, but it's what's that one movie, Waited, with
Yeah,
Waited,
waited. Yeah,
Waiting, something
I
like
know
that.
all about the restaurant life. There's a lot of restaurants, especially if you're servers or
Yeah,
cooks.
Waiting.
A lot of things are in common. That's drinking and drugging. Right. I I went to work at a restaurant, uh, really high, right, really high on cocaine, and here I am, serving people their food, and
Yeah.
I was freaking wasted on cocaine. So I understand about, but hey, it's not all restaurants are like that. It's just that some of that mentality can take you there.
Yeah. So we we were living in a trailer together. So I'm living in a trailer. I am barely scraping by, working from 1, 2 o'clock until, getting out at 10, 11, going straight to the bar.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just this constant cycle. And then, well, I ain't got no money for alcohol. Well, what else we got? Oh, I know a guy that, so all right, cool, whatever. So mix all of that together, and then a very toxic relationship started.
Yeah.
That lasted way longer than it should have. So going from this Marine mentality, clear headed, always on top of things, to basically scraping the barrel, eating ramen, and I made some great things with ramen noodles. You mix a little tuna fish in there with a little bit of corn, and you got this like home style trailer park goulash. It costs like $1.
Yep. Yep. But by the way, now ramen is a dish that a lot of restaurants serve now, but they fancy it up because they put like pork belly and egg and all that stuff in it. So it used to be a poor man's dish, and
Oh,
it
it
still
still is.
is. But you can
It's a little
also,
bit more expensive now.
yeah, you can also go to a fancy restaurant and get you a ramen bowl. Yeah, with pork
Yep.
belly. Couldn't do that back in the days when you were out drinking and drugging. Huh.
No. You think there's priorities in your life at that stage.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I mean, we got so brazen that after getting done with work, we sat there at one of the tables inside the restaurant and sparked up and was smoking in a circle. Um, and then they obviously had cameras all over the place. How many years has it been? Yeah. There happened to be some places in Murfreesboro where you could buy some stuff, so I escaped justice, but I was getting reckless. And
yeah,
then my roommate went down a very dark path with, I'm sure, crack or something else, so that kind of went to the wayside, and here I am trying to survive with a trailer and a very bad relationship that I never should have got in, and then ended up living with her and her parents. So now I am depending on her father for a job. I'm depending on their family for room and board and food and everything else. I get a little bit of money, but some of the money goes to help with everything else. And I'm living as a, mid-20s guy with not a car, because that got repoed. Um, that was fun. So my car got repoed. I lost my job. Actually, I quit. Um, I'm living under somebody else's parents' roof, and I don't even have a phone. Like, I
yeah,
am totally dependent, living out in the middle of the country. Um, so my life kind of like really just, and I was just taking it, day by day. Um, Eventually I started, getting out of it and be like, hey, I'm not taking, pills anymore. I'm not going to smoke, and, this and that. And, started stacking my cash away secretly, trying to get out of it.
yeah,
And then realizing the situation I was in. Um, so again, another opportunity comes up and it gets taken away from me. the relationship ends, and I am stuck again in a situation for the third time in just a few years to where I have no job, I have no car, lost that. I'm riding a bike to get around.
But hey, at least you have something. You have, what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You have something. So,
So I'm about to lose my apartment. I found out that, the toxic relationship, that, whatever else is going on with that. And at this point, like, there's only so many hoorahs that you can have. You're like, all right, we'll get out of this one. We'll get out of this one. We'll get out of this one. And eventually it was just, I don't want to get out of it anymore.
mhm.
I remember there was a point to where I was sleeping in a closet of my own apartment, not answering the knocks at the door because something with somebody that she was with, he had a problem with me, and there was like 5 or 6 dudes. So like I'm at a point to where I'm just like, about to give up. So that
Yeah.
morning I woke up and I was probably messed up that night too. So I don't know what I did or what I said or whatever else. I pissed somebody off. And there was a long rifle that was under the bed. So I remember, I can still kind of see it. The sun was shining from my left through the window, those blinds, the walls right in front of me, and my back's up
Mhm.
against the bed. And I planted it down and I looked at it, and something, I don't know how long I sat there. It seemed like forever. But I didn't pull the trigger because I'm still,
Yeah, you're still here. Yeah.
So that was like the lowest point. It was just hit after hit after hit, and I'm like, there's nothing else I can do. Like I've tried it all.
Yeah.
So I got off of the bed and threw the gun down, and I went and I started playing a game. It was Oblivion. I don't know if you remember that game or if you
I,
play.
I'm not a gamer. Sorry.
So Oblivion was probably the highest rated game at that point. Like they used it in senior homes because the graphics were so amazing, and the ability to just walk in this almost endless medieval countryside. It was just like going out and whatever else. So I spent many, 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 many hours on that game, which kind of pulled me out of everything that was going on. And eventually gaming kind of saved my life, in a way. So I kind of latched onto it. It was a way to escape all the things that were going on.
Yeah.
And eventually, I got a job and did this and did that and started saving up and all the things, and kind of got out of that rut. Um, that's the first hurdle that I kind of
Yeah.
overcame.
But then you get out of that rut, and we know as ruts are, it's easy. They're easy to fall back into if we let
Oh yeah,
ourselves fall back into those. Trust me,
there's a common denominator too.
I've fallen in. It's not women, sir.
Yes, it was
I
the
mean,
same one.
I've fallen into many ruts. Okay, but they were ruts of my own making. Okay, that's just that they weren't there. I put them there.
Right.
And that's the thing. Like you said, like you were talking about with the shotgun. And not ending your life. There's a reason why you didn't end your life. There's a reason why I'm a 3-time suicide survivor. We all, sooner than later, we all wake up and realize, all right, we have to change our lives, because if we don't change our lives, how better are we going to be for our next generation? Like if we have kids, like how good are we going to be for our kids if we don't change the way that we're living? Or how good are we going to be for ourselves if we don't change the way that we're living? So there is that natural wake up call that a lot of people do have, but then a lot of people don't have. A
Yeah.
lot of people have it, and it's too late. Their life has gone too far downhill to where they can't get out of that hole that they create. They can't get out of the rut. So
I
you were able to get out of that rut. A couple times.
I
So
did forget that probably a week before that event happened, we all went out drinking heavily, and I got behind a car, and I went the wrong way. I wasn't going home, but I was going like 120 miles an hour, probably plus. I was going fast. I do remember it was over 100, and I remember I lost control and ended up in a ditch. The car was totaled. Um, but I almost lost my life that night too. And somebody, I don't know how I got out of the ditch or how the car was running, but I stopped at a gas station, still drunk, trying to get into a closed gas station. And a guy pulled up because in Tennessee, you can still get gas when the place is closed.
yeah,
Um,
the pumps are so active. Yeah,
yeah. So he he actually was a Christian, and I guess it was the first seed. He put the seed into the ground for me.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Somebody's got to plant the seed for the seed to grow into a bigger tree. So
right,
yeah,
somebody's got to plant it to water it to
yeah,
But
uh,
he said, "Listen, son, I need you to come back with me." And I actually followed him to his place, and I don't know this guy from Adam, and I'm following a stranger
yeah,
to his house, and he sits me down, gives me coffee, talks to me, gives me the whole speech, and I'm probably crying and broken down and drunk
yeah.
and all the things. So yeah, and then the next week I tried to do the rifle thing. So yeah,
Well,
bad spot.
you know that it's weird because I like to call those people angels, right? It sometimes like God puts people or higher power, whoever you want to call it, uh, puts people in your life for reasons, and you might not understand those reasons right then and there, but on down the road, it'll become clear why those people were put in your life at certain situations in your life.
Yeah,
So that that guy was put in your life at that certain situation for a reason. He was that was your wake up call number one. You know, and then like you said, you a week later you tried to end that wake up call, but you didn't give up, and it didn't happen. It didn't happen because you didn't pull the trigger. It didn't happen because you had somebody watching over your ass. Pardon my French. You know what I'm saying? Like
yep.
that's the reason why it didn't happen. You know, it's because you had that person watching over you, and you were also saying, all right, you know what? Like in the back of your mind, you're thinking, all right, if I end my life now, who's it going to help? It's not going to help me, and it's not going to help the people that know me. You know.
None of that was running through my mind at that point.
Well,
It was more like I chickened out.
uh, well, yeah, you chickened out for a reason, though. That's what I'm saying. You chickened out for a reason. You chickened out for a reason, and you may have not known then, but
God, I can't even get this right.
I don't even have the strength to pull the trigger. I get it. It's
No.
that's the beautiful thing about the way that life is sometimes. You know,
Yeah.
it wasn't meant to be, and thank God it wasn't meant to be. Because you wouldn't be here today, and you wouldn't be sharing your story, hopefully helping one person.
Yeah. Um,
Even
I
if that
mean,
one person's Justin Cheatham.
even at my lowest, I mean, in anybody's lowest, there's always a way to come out of it and turn things around. You just got to have the mentality that, like, hey, find an anchor, find something that, whether it's work or video games or sports or working out, something positive that you can pull from that'll
Yeah,
get your mind off of the things. And then, you know, you're going to have to do the work mentally, physically, to get yourself out of situations, the bad relationship, get yourself out of certain circles, the ones that had drugs and alcohol.
yeah,
stop feeling, that everything and everybody's against you. You got to like change your whole mentality, your physical settings. Like I know people that knew that they were in bad situations, but still they tried cleaning up and still stuck around with the same people.
It's
All
because
that is,
they weren't
they're
doing
going
the
to drag
work.
you right back in.
Yeah, it's what's the old saying? Faith without works is dead. Right? If you can have all the faith in the world that you want to change and that you want to be a better person, but if you don't put the work in to be that better person, guess what? That faith isn't going to happen. You know, if if you want the world to change, if anybody wants the world to change, what do? You put the work in and you start making the changes that you need to make, and then the changes will happen. You know,
Yep.
that's
You start the change around you
yeah.
locally. You ain't got to, doubt this and all
Oh,
that. And then through your seeding and your watering and, all that, you can change more than you think, even if, a person or a situation you don't know about it. People are watching you. They're seeing how you
yeah,
react, how you do things, and oh well, he says he's this and he's doing this, or you know, all of that action is relatable to somebody and how they see. I know, and I'm sure we'll get into this later, but when I got saved and started my life in faith, there was people that never spoke to me or whatever else started coming up to me and oh you motivate me, or I'm proud of you, or you're brave for talking about your story or this and that.
yeah,
You never know. You got to change what's here first here, and then
yeah.
change what's around you, and then move forward.
Well, like you said, you had to change your atmosphere. You know, like
It
when I
wouldn't be
was
the first time I had to do that.
no when I was drinking and drugging heavily, it it was because I was being influenced by the people around me. Okay, um, and I was hanging out with those people. I going to those places. You know, like it talks about, and and I'm not ashamed to admit it. I've been in AA before. I've been in NA. You know, now,
You
uh,
quitter.
you know what? I'm not a quitter though, because here's the thing. Did it help me at that point in my time? Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Is what I learned through those individual groups helping me today? Yeah. But guess what? I can sit here in my office, and outside that door, I have a full bar. That's or that door, whichever way you want to see it. I have I have a full cabinet full of bourbon and vodka, and guess what? Uh, there's a lot of dust on those bottles.
Why do you
Right?
have?
You know, it's because it's my thing. I like to collect them, and on
Oh,
occasionally I do like to drink them. Yeah, you know, but I don't. I got to learn this thing about it's called control. You know,
hmm
or what matters in my life. You know, um, my life now is more manageable, and it matters more to me than when I was drinking and drugging heavily. You know, so I can have a glass of bourbon every week, and it won't take me down the dark spiral life that I used to have. You know, there's a lot of people that can't. There's a lot of people that can't do that. You know, and some of my best friends and some people that have inspired my life are sober individuals today. You know, and and I applaud them for it. You know, and I applaud anybody if you're struggling with any type of addiction, whether it be alcohol, whether it be drugs, and you make the changes that you want to make to be a better person, then hell yeah, congratulations. You know, because that's what it takes. You know, we have to be willing to make the changes in our lives to better ourselves. You know,
absolutely.
and that's relationships. That's anything. You know, it's all about making those changes. So and
Right.
you and you've done them and you are doing them. You know, like you said, you made that spiritual change, and people have noticed that spiritual change in your life. You know, like that. Well, when you start to make those changes, people will notice. Like
Yeah.
I was talking to a friend of ours, Justin Cheatham, right? Uh, and
Not that guy.
we'll get into why you know him in a second. But like he was telling me, uh, he had an event, that he hosted about a month ago, and he had an individual approach him afterwards and tell him that hey, you you help me, you help me, and that's all it takes.
Yeah.
um, and yes, you do have to have self control, right? uh, and make a better life for yourself. Yeah, you do. I mean, that's all it takes. It takes being willing to make the changes that you want to make in your life. Don't be in a relationship if you know that things aren't going to change. You know, um, don't hang around a group of friends that you call friends if they're not bringing anything positive into your light. You know, you got to let all that negative shit go.
Yep.
You got to let it go, because if
You
you
gotta
don't, you
have the
you,
wisdom and
you
discernment to know the difference and the
uh,
courage to take action on them.
that is part of the Serenity Prayer. Right? It's tattooed on my arm. Okay, I I look at it every single day, because there's not a day that goes by that I don't need to say, "Hey God, uh, grant me the serenity for the things I cannot change, and give me the wisdom to know that I can make the changes, and also give me the wisdom to know the difference."
And the
So
courage to take
yeah,
the step to
yeah.
make the
So
changes.
it's that's an important thing, and a lot of people forget that. So
Yep.
it's yeah. So I'm proud of you, man. So let's go back a minute. How the hell did you meet Justin Cheatham?
Oh, we haven't. That's forward.
All right. Well, let's
That's
let's go
forward.
let's go let's go forward into this adventure of Ben McCall meeting
Because
Justin
we got
Cheatham.
2 more rounds
All right. All right. Well,
of
round two. All
overcoming.
right. So
But
Justin's not even round two. Justin's like round three. Oh.
Justin is recently. Justin was when I was streaming,
All right.
so my stream was picking up popularity. Oh boy, I was getting tore up on. I was getting so tore up on my streaming that I would pass out on some of the streams. I do remember that, but my drinking was the popularity of the stream, I guess, because they love to make me do things. And Justin loved to make me do things. I had a wheel of death, and you pay me $5, I'll eat bugs and whatever else. So I think he paid my power bill and my mortgage all in like a month
All right.
because he just loved to torture me. Um,
He just said he paid your light bill.
at least 3 times.
Man, Justin, what do I need to do for you to pay my bills? Don't answer that.
Well,
Don't answer that, Ben.
no, I remember one night I just brought out the wheel of death and
Uh,
I made $70 in 5 minutes. But I had a lot of hot sauce, a lot of shots, a lot of just I was eating. I almost threw up a few times.
all right.
Like
Do you still have that will of death? Because I'm gonna need it for Gatlinburg.
I don't stream anymore.
Well, Justin. Do you have the will of death, sir? Because I'm gonna need you to bring that to Gatlinburg.
No, but yeah, that's how I guess a buddy of his,
uh,
or maybe he was searching for streams because I was playing. I think maybe World of Tanks or whatever.
uh,
Um, and that's kind of how we met up. And then since then, the first time we met, I was moving. Hold on. I've moved so many times since, and he's helped me so many times. The first time he met, he helped me move. So I'm meeting this online guy that was paying my light bills. He helped me
yeah.
move from Ohio to Tennessee. And then, oh yeah, buddy said the city is about to eat a scorpion. I ate a scorpion that night.
All
That's
right.
yeah. And then he helped me move from Tennessee to Ohio. He helped me move like 3 times. He
And
doesn't want to help me move anymore.
and he was in Florida.
Yeah. Yeah, he flew to help me move
Like
after he
some
paid my light bill. So I'm like,
so I
sure,
mean
for
that's
free?
a
Yeah.
that's a good friend. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean,
Like
at that point, we weren't really good friends. He
uh,
was just paying
you
my light bills.
he was just a guy paying your light bill, being a
Yeah.
stranger, because he wanted to see you eat more scorpions. Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know what he wanted at that point. I think he wanted, retribution or payback for all of the light bills. But
Well, you know he's also a veteran. He probably wanted to eat your crowns.
yeah, well, I think at that time his non-charity was going on,
Yeah,
so he kind of folded it into that
yeah,
for his non-charity because he was helping out veterans and stuff. So
yeah. So there you go. See, in a roundabout way, he was helping out you.
oh, he helped me out
Well,
a whole lot. Yeah.
one veteran helping out another veteran. You know.
And then I've gone down there and helped him in the heat of the Florida the
you were
ridiculous
a write off.
temperature.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got pictures of me, just doing all of his labor for him. It's like a mule, back and forth.
I mean, whatever keeps you on the your mental health on the up and up, right? You got to do it. You know what I'm saying?
We both do charity for each other. We feel
Yeah.
bad for each other.
It happens. Uh-oh. I don't want to know. He says he has all sorts of pictures of you. Right?
I'm sure he does.
Buttholes not included.
No, no, no.
If any of you know who Justin Cheatham is,
I'm sorry.
yes, I'm not, but I am.
Good for you.
Ask him about his butthole. He'll be glad to tell you about it. Right?
No, I've heard that for years now. It was a daily conversation for a couple months.
It happens.
Then the occasional, does this look right? I'm like, I'm not even opening my phone, Justin. Not even opening it. I'm just going to delete the message. Swipe left.
Yeah, I'm not gonna even remotely. Yeah. Well, see, I told you. Once we dive in a wormhole, it could go off the rails, right? And it's going off the rails, all thanks to that. Right?
Yeah.
So let's dive back into it. So, first round, you get right. You find your higher power. You start
not
living.
Yet.
No, so
No,
first.
not yet.
So first round is you're not
First
even
round,
still.
I just survived.
Yeah. Second round, that's when you find God, or no?
No, that's the third round.
All right. Well,
So,
it took you 3 rounds to find what you needed in your life.
Yeah. So second round, I finally get rid of the very toxic relationship that I had, like extremely toxic.
Yeah.
Yes, worse than anything you've ever seen, Justin. So finally get rid of that. Meet, a good woman. I have a steady job. Get the house. So everything's looking on the up and up. But I'm still drinking. I chose not to do any more drugs.
Yeah.
But there was times that, yes, I was drinking. And through life and whatever else, there was problems when I was drinking. It was more the heavy liquor, dark liquor. You get into those zones to where you just either black out or you're to the point to where you're not quite yourself. And so that was adding stress. But then another thing happened, and I lost my job for like 8 months due to an injury. I was at that time, I was in a high spot. I was running a gaming organization. We were actually competitive gaming. We were 12th in the nation, traveling around the country. We had sponsors. We had like 10,000, 15,000 people in our community. Like, it was getting big. If you've ever heard of Optic Gaming and Hector, he was actually thinking about joining one of our earlier versions of it. So like it was big. I've got videos of me on main screen in MLG Dallas, coaching our team, our professional team. So my wife was helping out with that. Had a decently good paying job for the area, doing construction, and I had a back injury that just took me out. So finally recover from that, and then I've got parents that are moving into the house, and now we've got a flooded house where parents are losing their jobs and their health. Her father dies. So all of these things are all going on all at the same time. I'm still drinking heavily because I've obviously, pretty down in the dumps for not being able to provide and all that. And it gets to the point to where I had at least 2 run-ins with the police, and then a third one was the DUI. So now alcohol, losing a job, problems with the marriage, and she wants a divorce. So now I'm losing all my money. Finally, DUI, losing my wife. So another hit. I've got all this stuff going on, no money, and I can't work, and parents are needing to move back into my place. So now I'm living with my parents, or my parents are living with me. So all that's just like another hit. Like, hey, I was doing so well. How this was like self-inflicted and then acts of nature all at the same time.
Yeah.
Come on, man. I was doing so good. So that took me a while to recover from. If you've ever, I guess, got a divorce or been, in that situation, it's not easy. When it's kind of self-inflicted, but at the same time, it's just life happened.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I went down a different rabbit hole with that. So I just concentrated on work and women. That's all I concentrated on. That's all I was doing. I was working, and I was working women.
What? So you were a bona fide womanizer.
Oh yes, Justin knows. I mean, this just until 2024. So that was in 2013. 2024, I stopped that. So it was 11 years. I was like, hell, if my wife don't want me, screw it. I just went down anything and everything. Not everything, Justin. See, I know him. I know him too well.
Well, he's
not anything and everything.
He's sitting in the comments being quiet right now. So yeah.
I know. But yeah, like whatever it was, and it put me in so many bad situations and relationships and whatever else. Oh, this is good. No, it's not. There's red flags. It's okay. We'll fix those tonight.
Yeah, you can turn those red flags into pink flags, and it'll be okay. Not really. No.
So
toxic relationships are toxic relationships.
That was a defining part of my life. I was, that was the most important thing to me, was working and getting laid. I'm being quiet, but I cannot be. He's met a few of them. He's
Yeah, but it's good to have a friend like that now that knows your past. That way he cannot steer you to your past. But you don't want to forget the past, because if you can forget your past, you're going to repeat it. Like they say.
He would steer me that direction any chance he could.
No, not that dude. No. I don't.
You've been kind of quiet. You need something to keep you busy.
He says you've only dated quality women.
I mean, we're not getting into my dating life.
Yeah, that'll be for another. All right, those of you who are watching the podcast and who will listen to this
I'm
after
leaving
it's
a lot
after it's aired, stay tuned for episode number 2. All right, uh,
out.
which will be focused on Ben's mental health with women.
It's a 2-hour special.
You buy one, you get one free. All right, you're listening and watching this one tonight. Guess what? On down the road, you'll get the follow up special. It'll be okay. All right.
I'll promote that one.
Yes.
So yeah, that was my crutch. I put everything into that, and whatever I could get.
Yeah.
And I guess it all came down to a boil. In the end of 2024, I was getting. I don't think I've ever told anybody this. I think Justin knows. I would say the summer of 2024 until the end of the year, I was actually starting to get into some kink stuff.
So you're talking BDSM stuff. It's okay, sir.
Yeah.
Some S&M. It's okay.
Dom
Yeah.
stuff.
Nah, but you're a sub.
No.
You're a switch. Right? you are not a dominant man.
No. So I was getting into that lifestyle, and I actually joined a club and
a BDSM group.
Well, it was mostly swingers and club and all that. And
see what happens when you go to Detroit. This is you go to Detroit, and that's where it all began or ended. Either one. By the way, your friend here, Justin Cheatham, in the comments just called you out. Said you're definitely a sub.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We won't tell you about the things that he's done.
Yeah. I mean, maybe I need to have Justin Cheatham back on the podcast. I had him on a few years ago, and it was a great podcast. But I feel like now he has a whole lot more to share. Right? And next time you could be in the comments harassing him like he's harassing you.
Oh, he really hasn't been harassing me. He's been easy on me. No, but I guess it all came to a point. I was about to, I guess, create or engage in one of the 12 commandments. Thou shalt not commit adultery.
Yeah.
I was, already set to go with somebody's wife, and the Lord said, "Thou shalt not," and kind of plucked me, and through over coincidences and many things, just kept on, I guess, speaking to me in a way that only He can, and a few other things between all of that, but I have not looked back since. I've actually quit my drinking for the most part. I mean, I still enjoy a bottle of wine every now and then.
Yeah.
6-pack can last me 2 weeks. It's just, it's not an important thing in my life. I am still working toward my goals, but I realize that there are, more important things that need to happen. I'm not working 7 days a week, 90 hours a week. I'm not, I'm living it now in a full, just breath of life now.
Speaking of living it, here recently, you were living life great, doing some woodworking, and you had an accident. Like, how was that, man? I mean, you're doing good.
Yeah,
that would have led me down a spiral of addiction all over again.
That I can attest to, Lord Jesus Christ. First and foremost, if He wasn't in my life, it would have been a very, I broke a few times and I was getting rough. So what happened was I tried to battle a table saw and tried to cut my thumb off.
Yeah. I mean, look at it.
Uh,
I mean, yeah,
you still got the scar
yeah, still got the scar.
from right there all the way around. So, you know, it the only thing that stopped it was the bone, stopped the blade. So tendon, meat, all the 9 yards. Um, and it was a really strange coincidence, or not coincidence, but I'm in this place now. So that was April, May.
Yeah.
I got my first Bible in like February, March. Started talking with the Lord, and he found me like in January. So like business is doing great. I am pulling in money. I'm like already set to have my best year. 6 figures.
Mm-hmm.
Bringing in new clients, high end clients. Um, a favor with the Lord. Uh, like everything is good, and then bam, uh, I can't work no more. I can't livelihood. What am I going to do? How am I going to do anything? Luckily, through all that hard work, I had some money saved up,
Yeah.
which that June, that summer, the property that I just signed under contract, it took me a whole year to sign it under contract. Um, I was going to work on and take that money and put it into a rental, and all these things were happening and going on, and then like that, boom. Um, Extreme pain, extreme disarray, extreme just so many things coming at you. Like how, what, what am I going to do now?
Mm-hmm.
And I fell back into stock trading to kind of segment some of that money, which I was doing really well on. Um, and I had a miracle encounter that got me a very very fast uh, operation. Um,
Yeah.
so a week into it, I was set to go to the VA to just get a checkup. Um, my thumb was in a just bad place, and one of the nurses saw what it was and said, hold on, you're not leaving here. There just happened to be a doctor that had a cancellation for like an hour or two later. She got me into um, that operation, and then I was operated on that afternoon and got out of the hospital the next day. Like, it was not supposed to be. Like, I thought I was going to be self-healing for like a month before I could get into the VA to do anything.
Yeah. Do you do
That was
you
a miracle.
do you think because your life was going so great at that time, not that almost cutting your thumb off on a table saw would be a reminder of life, but do you think that it kind of happened for a reason?
Whew, I've battled that question a lot.
I mean, I know that's a deep question to think about, but it's do you think that, maybe there's a reason why it happened? No, because what happened after like you said, your working stopped, but you didn't stop growing, you didn't stop learning, you know, but it gave you a slowdown period. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah. Yeah, actually that was one of the main things that like I asked, I was like, Lord, why would you, let this happen? Um and one of the things that I came up with, it exposed me to another form of support for me. Like I would have never, started day trading or stock
Yeah,
or anything like that if this hadn't happened.
yeah,
So I found out a new way because I can't do construction all my life. Right.
hmm,
Um, I also came up that, the closer you get to God, the more that the devil's going to try to attack you. Why would he try to attack you if, you know, you're one of his best students, right? So the closer you get to him, the more he's going to attack you. And I was just like, well, that's definitely an attack because everything was skyrocketing right about that point. Like everything was good.
Yeah.
But that time, like I got closer to God than I ever could, you know, sitting there working. Like I would go on hikes and, you know, just talk to him. I would read the Bible like on a very deep, like regular basis. I was able to study, you know, different things for investing and stuff. Like I took this time and did as much with it as I possibly could. And then that came up, you know, hey, you need to slow down. You need to live your life. Yes, you can still acquire all these goals and stuff, but I remember the hike, and I made a Facebook post about it. But I was on a hike, and my life before was goals of, you know, the big houses, the expensive cars. Like I got a big, you know, I'm going to get apartments. I'm going to do this like big.
Yeah.
And it came to the point where do more with less, be simplified. You know, that's not what, you know, God wants you to do with your money. He wants you to multiply. Yes, he wants you to do more, but not in a gluttonous, just, you know, just explosive way.
Yeah.
Um, so there was so much time to really think and look at my life. Man, the conversations and the ideas and the thoughts that I had about my life and my choices, I found out that I was the cause of a lot of stuff. Like I was doing it to myself. The choices I was making, you know, why this didn't work out, why that didn't work out. I had the time to self-reflect, and man, that's rough to sit there and look at yourself and be like, it's you. You're the problem. Not them. Not them. It's you. I was like, whew.
Well, no, because here's the thing that does that that speaks volumes that you're able to see that, you know, because when we're so enthralled in the madness, and when we're putting other things before other things, uh, life is still. We might think that life is manageable, but life is not manageable, and then we dive deep within ourselves. And we're like, yep, this is why everything's happening the way it is, and it's all because I control what's going on in my
Mhm.
life, you know, and yeah, it sucks that your thumb almost got cut off by that table
I
saw,
mean,
but
that's
I
all I got. I
I
can't
I,
I can't
I
do this no more. I,
less of a grip, if you know what I
it,
mean.
oh, I drop stuff all the time. Like I can barely feel things right now.
Yeah,
It's all tingly. So I'll grip something and I don't know, and it'll just
yeah, but yeah, you know, it's. I hate to say that was part of your wake up call as well. You know, it it gave you that time to discover more in your life. It gave you that time to slow down. And what happened during that time? You also found out who your true friends were.
oh yes, that's
You know what I'm
another.
saying? Yeah, you found out who your true friends were, and one of those guys. Uh, we've mentioned his name 1,000 times. I don't want to give him a big head because he already has a big head. I, he, he,
He's
he,
got a
he
big beard too.
yeah, he dropped a lot what he was doing and came up to help you with your projects. You know,
Yeah.
with your work. Right?
I had just I had two projects going on at the same time. I was about to start. Uh, to me, it was a small house flip, and then I had a finish up on another one,
Yeah,
and there was no way that I was going to do it. And then he dropped everything and came up there and helped me knock it out. And I'm just sitting there like, hey, do this, do that. I was actually trading like while he was doing that because all right, paint that wall. What else am I going to do? So I was taking my laptop and trading and it's trying to keep money coming in because bills were still going out.
yeah, yep,
It's expensive quick when you don't have you know, stuff coming in.
yeah,
But Yeah, he man, there's been multiple times that not to blow his head up, but oh God, let's not talk about him.
But you know what? Like
It's all
like
about me.
that's one of those things. That's one of those things where you you come across, you meet these people for a reason, and you guys cross paths. It might have been because you were eating scorpions, but sooner or later you find out how much you mean to each other's lives. You know,
Yeah,
and you're still in each other's lives. You know, as crazy as that might seem, uh, God put you both in that situation for a reason. You know,
yeah.
so maybe it was God's plan all along to have
To
to
have a
have a
sexy thumb.
to yeah and to have a friend who lives in Florida and that would drop everything to come help out you. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
not I don't know many people. I don't know many people in my life that would drop everything they're doing to come help me out. You know,
I think some of my other friends are jealous of him too.
well,
They're like, I post the stuff up, and they're like, again, what Yeah.
but no, it's good. So we're getting over that threshold of the hour mark, and that's where I usually like to keep it at. Um, what's going on in your life today, man? Like how has Ben McCall today? How has Ben McCall in this moment? In this moment, we know you're feeling good, but like, what's going on in your life today? What are you doing now to not focus on the negative aspects and to make life more positive? And what's what is
Um.
going on?
Well, first and foremost, being saved by you know our Lord Jesus Christ. That is the foundation of my life.
Uh,
Um, I have been going to church regularly. Um, I was doing a Facebook kind of church thing, and then I found a local church, and God was calling me to serve, to volunteer, and now I'm on the tech team for the worship, and I just recently started playing the drums, practicing with the worship team.
uh,
So
do you have drummer experience?
yeah,
All right, cool, cool. Right
got
on.
a, got a
All right,
drum
all
set
right, all right, all
right
right. Okay, because I was like,
right
man,
there.
I was gonna say this poor worship team at your church. If you don't know how to play the drums, and they're like, hey, you, yeah, we need you to be our drummer. You're like, I got this. All right, we're gonna do it in the key of I don't know how to play the drums.
Um, so that's that. I'm still working on my goals. I'm not, I'm doing some stock trading,
Yeah,
as I work. So
yeah,
it's allotted me an extra income.
yeah.
Um, and just kind of focusing on trying to figure out. I'm currently in the figure out stage of the next stage of my life. What's God's plan for me?
Uh,
What's next? Because I'm here, I'm doing this,
yeah.
and I've always had a plan. I've always had the next. So I'm still motivated. I'm still doing all the things. Everything's in a good spot. I'm probably the best version of myself ever. I just don't know what the path is now. So I got to figure that out. But everything's great, man.
Well, that's amazing. That's awesome. You know that's awesome that um you're able to do those things today. You know, and like we said earlier, it's because you made the changes that you need to make to be a better Ben. All right. So, sir, you've said a lot on this podcast, but I do like to ask my guests at the end of the show if there's one thing that you could say to somebody who might be going through a rut right now, who might be having a hard time, who might be thinking about picking up that long rifle tonight, or drinking themselves to oblivion to where they have to have their stomach pumped. Um, what's one thing that you could tell somebody out there who's suffering right now to to help them out?
God loves you. Uh, we'll just put it at that. And if anybody ever needs me or needs to talk to me or anything, pray for them or anything else, I'm always available. But it's not always going to be like this, right? It will be okay. I promise you. Get yourself out of the situation, get yourself out of the circle, get yourself away from the people. Reinvent yourself if you have to, move away if you have to. But if you really want change, that's the biggest, best step that you can do. Follow through. Have the courage to take the first step. Everything else will fall in line.
That's it. Well, Ben, I appreciate you, sir. I'm glad that we were able to cross paths on that September day up there in Detroit, Michigan. All right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too.
As they say, you keep coming back. All right. I'm glad to have you around, and I hope you have a great rest of your night, sir.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna kick you to the back, and I'm gonna wrap up. Well, hey, everybody, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Shape the Podcast. Thanks to all of you who joined us in the chat tonight. I appreciate that. Thanks to Justin for bringing your friend here into the bearding community. All right. So I hope you all have a great rest of your week. Next month will be a little bit different here on the podcast. I have to just share where I'm at personally in my life, and at this moment in my life, I'm at that point to where I need to take a break. I need to focus on some things of my life that are of importance, and I've just hit that time to where I need to just take a step back. There will still be a podcast. Don't worry. The podcast will still be airing. They will just be pre-recorded podcasts when they do air, and that will only be for the month of June. It's going to be a busy month anyway because my co-host Jason has an event at the beginning of June, and then towards the end of June, I have a big event in Gatlinburg, Tennessee that I hope to see a lot of you at. But yeah, for the month of June, the podcast will be pre-recorded. But don't leave. All right, stay with us. All right, we'll come back in July with more live podcasts. Just thank you all for your time. Thank you all for being a part of my life and this podcast life. If you want to come on the podcast and you want to share your story, just like Ben did, and just like all my previous guests have, reach out to me. You can reach out through the Shape the Podcast Facebook page. You can message me on my Facebook page, Kyle Waller. You can reach out to my guest, my co-host, Jason Sewell. Reach out to us. We'd love to have you on. And as I say in pretty much every podcast, it's better to have you 6 feet above than 6 feet below. Have a great night, everybody.